Hello YouTubers, this is the Noobifier. On the recent Star Citizen Live, there was a point from the panel about how the current quantum travel and obstacles interact with each other. In short, they don't have a firm plan yet, and we the community understand this to be another placeholder that will be addressed. The org that I'm a member of, Enemy Contact, had a huge brainstorming session about this topic in our weekly meeting. I want to flesh out and explore what was said on Star Citizen Live and get some further discussion going. Collectively, we're smarter and more creative than a small team of developers. This type of video works best with a broader exposure, so I ask you to share it or discuss it with your friends and org mates. Let's begin. They said that there are a couple ways that they can move forward with dealing with quantum obstacles. Currently, we initiate quantum and pass through an asteroid. It has the least impact on our travel times, but it's also the least realistic based on what we know about how components will work. I know that the most extreme implementation could be that a traveling ship collides and then is destroyed. Nobody wants that, so then the upper extreme might be that any obstacle between you and your distant destination would cause you to fall out of quantum. This sounds realistic, but as was mentioned by the developer, this implementation could add minutes or hours to an already long journey. We need to look at this from a holistic vantage, as to not add something that we may regret later. So having to navigate and fly clear of an asteroid field to initiate quantum adds variation and security to places like Grimhex. Our discussion confirmed that this impression is only under the assumption that asteroids will be mainly forming in belts with the occasional rogue object. When done to select areas, it would be fine, but making it very common would adversely alter your game enjoyment. This is quite easy to deal with in lore because placing a major trade hub within an asteroid field actually makes no sense. So generally, needing to first clear through a cluster of obstacles would seem to be a fine implementation. I wanted to quickly take a look at 3 sci-fi universes, specifically how they deal with light speed and obstacle avoidance to get some more insight. These were carefully selected by yours truly because they all approach from a completely unique way. My goal with this is to present how others have dealt with it to see if any of this could make sense within the Star Citizen universe. Star Trek is fairly simple. They use a warp drive to achieve faster than light travel. The courses are charted deliberately, and most interestingly, they seem to be able to change the heading while traveling. The deflector array is a critical part of their system. It allows the ship to push objects aside that would normally rip through the hull. The deflector is a type of shield unit that projects forward and encompasses the ship similar to how a reinforced bumper works on a train. At speed, the ship simply bullets its way past the objects, which is a very simple way to address the problem within their lore. Star Wars was mostly simple, except for when that purple-haired chick decided to aim a ship at another ship and initiate hyperdrive. That single action in a single movie went completely against 30 years of canon, so I'm going to choose to ignore it and write it off as poor writing that shouldn't have ever happened. George Lucas defined hyperdrive as a system that allows ships to achieve hyperspeed, which is close to light speed. He listed a clear difference between real space and hyperspace, and just like in Star Citizen, losing the drive drops you back to real space. The system requires a course to be carefully calculated and time for the system to build up the hyperdrive motivator. The motivator adds hypermatter particles to the hull and then initiates travel. Their plotted course avoids huge obstacles, and the slight phase into the new state addresses smaller collisions. Within Star Citizen, we know the Mantis can impede quantum, and we should also be able to see areas within our universe where certain drive types don't work, adding once again to the diversity. We need diversity within our locations, which introduce unique issues, forcing us to find a means to deal with them. This idea plays nicely into the third method of travel that I've taken from the modern Battlestar Galactica TV show. Their method Foldspace, and they jump instantly from place to place with a deliberate cooldown between jumps. The course is calculated, the system is spooled up, and it takes time to initiate a jump. It worked so well to add tension to the TV show, and it removed all of the issues associated with hitting objects. The stationary ship disappeared and reappeared elsewhere like a transporter, with the assumption that the calculations ensured that it would arrive in clear space. They never spoke about the physical limit of the range for each jump. It actually didn't matter in the show, as we had no real sense of scale. It was a pretty cool idea, however, for our game, this sort of jump currently goes against all of our lore and known mechanics. Perhaps years in development after live release, CIG could add it to our universe as a new alien technological upgrade. Having such a drive may have huge implications for explorers, industry, and defense forces. A drive that worked like this may be able to navigate those sections of the universe where the current tech won't work. The cost could be in the trillions of dollars, offering a new grinding goal for the dedicated player. It could have a very long charge time, huge fuel costs, or a significant cooldown. Please post in the comments with your comments. I'm going to quickly cover what we know about our Star Citizen universe. Ships with quantum drives can travel at quantum speeds. These are sublight, plus or minus around 0.2 c, or 1/5 the speed of light. The size of the ship does dictate the actual speed, either slightly faster or slower. Alien drives currently operate mainly on the same physical means, offering a variation to the animation when at quantum. The system costs fuel, which is finite but replenishable. This is very good for gameplay variation, adding the need for pathing choices, and it needs to be factored in when traveling as a composite fleet. Quantum linking was added where a group enters and exits as a unit. Being interdicted in this state would drop everyone out at the same point, ensuring that they can defend themselves properly. All this so far is a great recipe for enjoyable team-on-team gameplay. Deliberate choices and planning to get you from point A to point B, factoring cost, time, and security. For navigating quickly around a planet, they recently added a short bend quantum animation known as a spline jump. Generally greatly received by the community as a time saver and a massive improvement to quality of life. So in closing, I'm going to leave you with what we felt was a possible future implementation. It's great that some fields are too dense for quantum and that you would need to travel through them before initiating a jump. This would be perfect for a place like Grimhex or other secluded destinations. Most major shipping destinations would have been placed by design away from obstacles, so that won't be an issue. There could still be some areas with fields of less density. For these, allowing the quantum spline jump system to weave between the objects may be a viable solution. This could prevent frequent or repetitive travel delays while giving that scenic character that we expect from our universe. We also felt that adding the spline jump to normal quantum could allow an arc-shaped path around objects such as the backside of Crusader. This is already part of our lore. Allowing the quantum drive to spline jump around objects seems to be the way to refine the current system. And of course, patching in new features in the future in our unlimited universe. And that's it. A huge topic with massive gameplay implications. Please post your thoughts and comments, as we know that CIG does read what the community is talking about. A shout out to the men and women of Enemy Contact for the helpful discussion. Thank you very much for spending your time with me. Fly safe, and I'll see you in the verse.